Hello, everybody. Bienvenido a todo. Welcome to Vabrut with me, Vabrut. And look, we are back in BeamNG.Drive and we are doing another base model challenge. And the car in question today is, as you can see, the spectacularly 90s Nissan Sunny. Um, I mean, it doesn't actually get more 90s than it. Like, it's literally soft styled, like all cars in the 90s were. But anyway, let's have a look at that. I mean, the top five has been this way for a couple of times now because we do already have a Japanese car in here. Actually, hoping this Nissan Sunny can get somewhere near there. It's naturally aspirated. I think it's a 1.6. Yeah, it's a 1.6. So it could, theoretically, I mean, this is a 1.8, pretty heavy, chunky car, the Mitsubishi Outlander. So that's number 5. Then we got the BMW 5 Series in number 4, and then 3 is a Mercedes, then 2 is a BMW 5 Series. So we've got the sort of executive segment holding in the middle, and then number 1 is still the BMW X5 diesel. We'll see how long that's going to be for, because I've got a couple of Range Rovers that I can give it a go at some point. But for now, we'll try this Nissan, see where we get. Now, my last video, I did the Kia EV3, which was electric, which was a disaster. Well, no, I mean, that one, it wasn't very good. It's not a fast car. It's a very heavy car. Definitely not designed for racing. Not that great to drive. And then the biggest disaster of all was the Mercedes S-Class, which was just awful. Yeah, as you can see, I think this is more of like it has the weird shaped number plate. But nothing can be done about that. So I did give it this color because I do vaguely remember there being ones that were this color. I feel like they were anyway. But anyway, let's go. Onwards, onwards. Yeah, I was quite a big fan of Nissan's sort of jelly look in the 90s. It was, I mean, it wasn't, well, what'd you say? Memorable by any means at the time. It was like just very sort of safe, but all car manufacturers kind of were in the 90s. They were all very, it wasn't until like maybe Ford with the Focus really shook things up and sort of like, I mean, quite literally called it was new edge, and with the car as well, really sort of went out there and started adding in a bit of flair, that cars started getting a little bit more adventurous again. Because if you think about like the Vectra and the Astra, the 90s Astras, there wasn't a lot going on there. And even the 90s Volkswagen Golf, the Mark III, very sort of jellyish. And the Mark IV was more of like a refinement of that. Very handsome car, actually. But like the 90s, definitely, it's not an era you look back at and think, wow, sharp cars. It's very much an era you look back at and think soft. Very soft, focus cars, how I think about it. Like Vaseline on the lens type cars, and this is one of them. Thing is, perfectly handsome little car. I think it's these kind of cars are going to come really big back into fashion as the next big classics. Because like the 80s is currently very fashionable. Well, the 80s is always kind of fashionable. Like, you know, hard edges. I think Hyundai did a concept car recently that was literally just like a car from the 80s, but electric. But oddly enough, like the first real sort of electric cars were in the 90s, like that GM car that like typical, the very 90s behavior. It's like, let's make a new type of car. Same with the Honda Insight when they first did their electric cars. But let's make it not look like just a normal regular car. Let's make it look weird and different, so that it's obvious that it's different and not a normal car. So that was the one with the GM plug-in electric car, and then and with the Honda Insight as well. Because that first gen Honda Insight was very much an oddity, and even the first gen Toyota Prius, they kind of made it look a bit weird as a saloon. Like, it was like, yeah, let's make a saloon, simple, normal car, but let's make it not look like any of the other Toyotas. And then, yeah, even then the second gen, and up until like the current gen. The current gen is the first Prius that actually looks normal. that actually just looks like a handsome car. It doesn't look like it's trying to look different or like, hey, this isn't a hybrid car, so it's different. But yeah, 90s cars definitely have that sort of jelly look. I used to like this and the Primera, and then this didn't last long, if I remember correctly. It was replaced by in the Europe at least, it was replaced by the Almera pretty quickly. This sort of had like the Sunny, I think, was kind of early 90s because the previous Sunny was very boxy, very 80s. I remember that. I remember that because they were. I'm trying to remember. There was definitely a 4-door version. I can remember the 4-door version. I can remember the 5-door version. And yep, I can remember the 3-door version because actually, Nissan get a lot of flack for sort of never quite being on the pulse of things, but I actually think sometimes you look at their cars and you think, wow, they had a really nice range. And when I think back to the 80s when they had the Bluebird and they had the Micra, the first gen Micra, and they had that Sunny, that was actually quite a very 80s range, but quite a like consistent, nice range. And then they had like the Maxima as well, which never really took off in Europe and certainly not in the UK. But that was like another big sort of boxy 80s car. And then the 90s equivalent of that was like this. And their 5-door version of this was, it had a sort of boot, so it was a bit like, had a bit like a shrunken Mondeo type shape. Well, shrunken Primera. And then the Primera, which was 5-door, 4-door, and estate. And then the 90s Micro, which was, of course, a pretty big success in the UK. It used to be everywhere those cars did. Like, and they were like right from like the early 90s black bumper, cheap as chips, 1 litre, sort of 40 horsepower cars, up until the later models with polycoloured bumpers and alloy wheels and shiny chrome grills. Really just sort of distinctive looking car. And then, of course, at some point, I don't know why the Sunny got replaced so quick, because the Almera came out on like an N-Ridge, I think, because that was about 1996. And I think this Sunny had only come out in like 92 maybe, so that was like quickly replaced by the Almera. And that first gen Almera as well was actually quite a nice looking car, I thought. I think it still holds up. The 3-door looked a bit weird. 3-door looked like the front doors were too small, and it had a really big back window, but the 5-door looks really nice. You never see them now. I haven't seen one of them in years. And then actually they went a little bit sort of strange, actually, now that I think about it, Nissan did. Because I think they got a lot of flack for being boring in the 90s. Like, oh, well, you know, why can't all their cars have the like, cute funsiness of the Micro or whatever? And then, I'm trying to think, so then they did 2nd gen Almera, which is a very boring car. But then they did the 2nd gen, or 3rd gen, I think it was. I think that the 1st gen Primera got a really big facelift in the end of the 90s, early noughties, which was substantial. Really did change the look of the car. Could be a fully new gen, but I think it might have just been a heavy facelift. And then the new Almera, really in the early 2000s, really changed things up. And got a lot of flack. And actually, looking back, it literally was the direction of things to come. Like the interior, for example, really big, flashy dashboard, like big screen in the middle, rear parking camera. Really sort of, I think, well, for me, I think it was ahead of its time. And like, obviously, that kind of car doesn't really exist anymore. That big sort of like family saloon or hatchback, all died, all dead. Show grid, yes, please. Yeah, take me back a bit, yeah, and then do 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 and ooh, that is actually very nice lighting, I think. I will do blah blah. Blah, blah, blah. Focus distance. There we go. There we go. Oh, that's nice. I think that's nice. I think that's nice. Actually, I might zoom in a little bit more. A little bit more. There we go. There we go. Lovely, isn't it? Just a nice, unpretentious car. Oh, that was close. Oh, that was close. I wasn't trying to get out of the camera of pause. I was trying to change the camera. Oh god, that came close to hitting the wall. Oh. But yeah, that early noughties Primera really sort of, I don't know, I don't know how to describe that kind of styling. Big headlights, sort of very sort of high bonnet. Kind of actually, I mean, really was the start of things to come. I think probably designed maybe almost as if it was adhering to some pedestrian safety design ideas, like sort of high, curvy bonnet. Not like trying to diminish its sort of 3-box shape into like one big sort of almost like a jelly mold, sort of like the Sierra of the noughties. And it really did get ripped into by car magazines at the time. I can remember they always like talked to it as like, oh, it's a really odd, weird looking car, and it killed it really. They didn't make another family car after that, did they? But they got their last lot because then they did the Qashqai, and that was like basically kicked off the whole SUV revolution that we now live in. I remember seeing the advert for that thinking, oh, who's going to buy that? And it was, in my opinion, a very boring and inoffensive car. And they loved it. Everyone was like, oh, this is the shape of things to come. Family SUV. I think it's because the SUVs of the 90s were trying to be four-wheel drive cars. Were like, they thought that like, oh well, to be an SUV, and well, you know, except for the Suzuki Vitara, which again got laughed at, but actually pretty much prototype of what today's SUVs are. Not trying to be four-wheel drive off-roader, it literally was a city car, just styled as an SUV, which is now pretty much 90% of cars. Oh, oof. Back then, they laughed at it. Laughed at it. Didn't Nissan have any sports cars in the 90s? Oh, they had the Fair Lady. That was very early 90s, though. I can remember someone around the corner from my parents briefly had one of those. Oh no, they had no. There was someone who used to visit who had one, but they were visiting someone, and on their driveway, throughout my entire childhood, was a Subaru SVX. Oh my god, how I wish I could go back and appreciate that car. It was like a dark burgundy. Oh, it was such a rough. Go look up that car. That's the definition of 90s. Very interesting roof and doors, because it had these big, huge glass doors. So obviously the glass area was so big it couldn't fit into the doors, so they had cutouts for the windows to roll down. It literally looks like a fighter jet, but then very subtle front and rear styling that just looks like almost like a Rover 800 or something. It's so weird. Really cool car. Not a big seller at all. Give Nissan because they had their little resurgence in the noughties as well with the Micra. The sort of third gen Micra was considered to be quite a good car, if I remember correctly. And then the fourth gen, not such a good car. And then the fifth gen is just basically a Renault Clio. I don't know if they still make that actually. But then I just saw today on Auto Express that the the next micro is going to be based on 16th. Fucking hell. It's going to be better. You know what? I wasn't even thinking the whole time around that. So, okay, behind the Runner 21. Behind the Opel Insignia, which I remember damaging along the way. Behind that EV3 that I did, but only 6 seconds. Behind the Ford Focus, okay. Behind the Dacia Duster. Behind the Volvo. Behind the BMW. Behind the Kia Rio. I actually thought it would do a bit better than this. Oh, but faster than Jeep Cherokee, which was like a what 2.5 litre diesel. I did actually think it would do better, and I thought because I wasn't even thinking as I was driving that I'd done quite a good job. But yeah, 11 minutes. I'm not that happy with that, but I don't think I drove badly because I was talking the whole way and I don't remember. But I don't think I Let's have a look what else I can do. I'm not doing a big bloody German saloon, that's for sure. Not after that bloody tragedy of that horrible Mercedes. It's going to give me bloody post-traumatic stress disorder for the rest of my life. Where is it? Where is it? Where is that horrible thing? There it is. Horrible thing. What can I do? Ooh, that 406 is awful. Can't do that. Have we got anything down here? I want to do that Passat, but I need to figure out what is the base model of that Passat. I've already done the T-Cross. I would like to do that Ibiza, but I'd like to get the proper wheels first before I do it. I've got so many things to do, but I'm just like, oh, but what? This Lada I'm going to do. I don't think they ever sold it in the UK. I'm sure they ever sold it in Western Europe, but I love the shape of the 5-door. So I'm definitely going to do that at some point. I should do this Kia, maybe. Ooh. No, I did a Kia last time, didn't I? I did the EV3. Maybe I should do that Hyundai. I could do this i40. I don't think the wheels are the right ones for the... Oh, I don't know though, because it's only got 2-litre engine. I'm pretty sure there was a 1.6 in the in Europe. I don't think it's here. Oh, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do a 1.2-litre 4-door Logan, because I've done the estate and I've done the yeah, I'll do the Access Logan. There we go, EU Logan. There we go. See if I can get this better than any of the others. Okay, so we got a Nissan Sunny and a Dacia Logan. This isn't going to be a fast one, I don't think. I would like someone who's like really good, got a steering wheel, to take this car around and see how fast they can get it around this ring. I suspect my tires. I'm wondering how many of the cars that I've driven around in way over 10 minutes could actually, with a really good driver with a steering wheel who's like good at like, you know, driving good like me, how fast they could get it, whether like I'm like minutes and minutes of. I mean the ones that I did well, not the ones that I crashed, because the ones that I did crash, I mean I could improve on those times, but I mean how substantially could. There we go. Oh, there we go. Lightweight, we don't have the stereo, no air conditioning to worry about. Just pure car. Pure performance. I laugh, but when you look at the sort of fastest cars in the 80s, like the Ferrari F40 and the Porsche 959, is it? They really did strip everything out. Those interiors were horrible of those cars. If you look at them, you're like, no, you wouldn't use that as a, you wouldn't use that. You'd be mad to use that off a track, because it would be, the suspension is like already going to be stiff as anything, and then the seats and the dashboard and everything is just not designed for people to use like on a regular road. So you'd be shaking your teeth out if you drove it on a regular road. So like this, probably the same. I assume it's got a more forgiving suspension setup than a Ferrari F40. I mean, when you see these supercars nowadays with their screens, their stitched leather dashboards, it's not hardcore. Not hardcore. Mind you, I always forget what was the fastest production car before the McLaren F1. I know the XJ220 wanted to be, but I don't think it ever did, because it was supposed to have a V12 and it didn't. It didn't ever get one. It just got a supercharged V6. So I'm thinking either the Porsche 959 or the Ferrari F40 were the two big ones of the 80s that were pushing for like high speeds, but I can't remember. I don't recall any Lamborghinis going for like big sort of fastest production cars, but maybe. Because I'm not sure when the Diablo came out, but I'm trying to think what other sports car. Oh, there was that Bugatti, wasn't it? Was it the EB110 or something like that? That might have been the fastest, actually. That's an interesting looking car, actually, come to think of it. That era of like designed in the late 80s, just before the sort of oil crisis of the early 90s. Interesting sports cars. Like that Bugatti, the Jaguar XJ220. Audi did one, but I don't know if they ever actually made it. But they did a concept. Porsche did a four-door car as well back then that they never made to production. But they've done like full-scale models of it. Those were the days, eh? Cars were simple. I do like that horn. To say, I've been seeing quite a few of those, the new Dacia Spring, not the. So I mean, actually, in Spain, I've seen, in Madrid in particular, you see a lot of the first-gen Spring, which is just the pre-facelift one, because they were used as rental cars, like pay-as-you-go rental cars. Not a good look for them. They're horrible garish colours, like white and lime green, and they're all wrecked, of course, because like, of course they are. Nobody gives a shit about them, so they get all like screwed up with parking, and their wheel hubcaps come off. But I've seen a lot of the new facelifted ones actually that look a lot nicer, and I see quite a few people driving around in them. Actually, on my morning commute. I have to say, I kind of get it. Like I've said, if I didn't like road trips, I would buy a little electric car. It'd be fine for me, because I like doing long distance driving. I ain't gonna sit around for half an hour for a car to charge to 80%. Because I just don't trust the charging infrastructure in Spain yet. Like when you stop off at like petrol stations on like main motorways, like far from any big towns, you might see one charger, and it's like of a brand I've never heard of. And I just think the faff of like having to have like 6 or 7 different apps on your phone for each possibility of one you can come across, and then no, I'm not there yet. Plug-in hybrid, maybe. I mean, this is all fantasy stuff. I'm I'm not getting a new car anytime soon. But if I do win the lottery, you'll know, because I'll mention. I just happened to get a brand new car. But yeah, the couple that I have been sort of vaguely thinking about if I was going to... Well, the Kia EV3 is one of them. Although after that last performance on the race... Well, not the race, the time trial, where I really screwed it up. I'm less... I mean, not that I'd ever drive that car like that. Less impressed with its capabilities But it is an SUV. But then I was just looking today, because just today they've started releasing reviews for the new MG, the electric MG S5, I think it's called, which is the replacement for the MG ZS electric. And even though there is a new MG ZS hybrid, it's not the same car. They are different cars. I don't think they have any body panels in common. The ZS is like a new platform built for petrol and hybrid, and the MG S5 is based on the MG4, I think, which is so fully electric. There isn't going to be a hybrid or anything like that version. It's just an electric car, and looks pretty nice. Ooh, ooh. Ooh, why did it suddenly start blooming the hell out of it? What did I do to deserve that? Oof, 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 oof. What did I do to deserve that? Is this on? Oof, no, there we go. Okay, yeah. A little bit of shine, but not that much. Nobody wants that much. Oh, I need to zoom in as well, yeah. Huh. Field of view. A little bit bigger, I think. Yeah. Do like this. I always say if like my car got stolen or something and I had to replace it emergency, I wouldn't mind getting one of these. I probably would. I'd probably hate it. Probably the worst car to have for long distance road trips. But at the same time, I am I'm a sucker for cheap. Ooh, let's take a picture of that, yeah. Okay, right, no, I think I need. No, the aperture needs to be. Okay, right. Zoomed out. Yeah, okay. There we go. Handsome car though. Weirdly, it shouldn't be, but it just is. Because you don't see a lot of saloons anymore. They don't even Dacia don't really make them. I think they do still do the Logan in the modern version, but I rarely see them in Spain. Not even as taxis, actually. I would actually, you know what? Actually, I wouldn't mind buying a new Logan saloon because I do like the new Sandero. And it's had like some little nips and tucks over the past couple of years, and it's an interesting car. Did go and potentially buy one when I was went to see cars, but I ended up with the Arona because I mean it was literally like stepping into like a luxury after the cars that I'd been in before. So the first one I tried was a Citroen Cactus. And no, I liked it. Lovely looking car. It was a facelift model, so not as extreme. And it was had really nice alloy wheels, but whilst it was high off the ground, it had a very low roof, so it felt very cramped inside. And then I tried the Vauxhall or Opel Crossland, which I actually really liked. But the one they had was terrible. It was like rough around the edges. It had been serially abused. Like dash was all worn away and stuff. And then I did try the Dacia Sandero, and I was like, oh, I liked it, but it did feel really small inside compared to the other two that I just looked at, because it was the smallest of those three. So then I was like, what else do you have? And they were like, oh well, it's got this Arona in. I was like, oh well, because they're 10 a penny in Spain, Seats are, and the Arona especially. So I hadn't been looking for one, but then when I sat in it, I was like, oh. Because whoever had it before, whoever bought it brand new, had spec'd it in the weirdest way. They'd done all these upgrades, except for the wheels. So it literally is like a full-on FR spec'd car, but just with tiny little 16-inch alloys. Which means it rides better than it should, but still not good enough for me. Okay, compared to the first time I took a Sandero around that first base model challenge, I think I've improved no end. Why is the bloom art? Was it like this before? Ooh, isn't it lovely? Definitely think I've improved a lot since that first one. Depending on the car, based on the last video with that S-Class, I've gotten a lot worse. But that car, I don't know. I mean, I've gone around these two cars, little front-wheel drive cars round without any risk of crashing. No, and that bloody S-Class, I was destroying it. Oh yes. Yes. Suspect we're going to end up with a similar-ish time to the, or maybe even worse than the Sunny. I mean, the thing is, like, these cars, they handle quite well because, I mean, predictably, because they're front-wheel drive, low power, but you just don't have the power once you get onto the straights to make up any time. So you can get around corners okay, but because you don't have power to power out of them, so you just end up with like reasonable car that drives reasonably. 18th, yeah. So what was 17? Grand Cherokee. What are we before? Trying to find where that Logan is. Okay, right. Let me see if I can find this. Where that Logan was. Oh, okay, there. So that's the Logan estate. Okay, so a good 45 seconds faster than that. Oh, well, not 45, 40. That's not bad, I don't think. And what about the first one I did? That's somewhere down here, I think. There it is. Okay. Okay, yeah, a good 3.5 minutes faster than that first one. Same engine, slightly bigger car, slightly lighter than the estate. So I mean, fair enough for the estate was that that one was that one was significantly, that was a bit slower. But yeah, I think I'm gonna take it as a sign that I've gotten better, significantly improved. That I've managed to get around in almost an identical car, just with a bit more of a boot. In like 3.5 minutes faster. Still not happy that I don't have any more. I only have 2 that beat in 10 minutes. But again, it's a base model challenge, and I like cheaper crap cars. They ain't gonna be doing better than 10 minutes. But I do want something that's not a BMW or a Mercedes that I can get under 10 minutes. Not a luxury mark, but it's trying to find what car would be able to do that. See, the thing is, like, Maybe a modern, super modern. I mean, I can only go by what mods I can find online. So, and I don't expect anyone to make anything. I just go by, and I'm happy that they're there. And if they make it easy to pay money for them, I'm fine too. But I'm trying to think like what would be a sort of standardish car that might be able to beat 10 minutes as a base model. Maybe the new Ford Capri. It's electric, but it's slanted towards sportiness. Maybe, I don't know. It might be too heavy. The base model, base speed, and one might not be able to do it. Maybe something like a Citroen C4. No, probably not actually. Front wheel drive and base model's probably 1.2 litre 3-cylinder thing. When I don't do the again, I'm trying to think of something that's not electric as well, because that Kia was boring as hell because it doesn't make any noise. Oh, I'll tell you what I would like to do. MG3 hybrid has an astonishing amount of horsepower for what it is. I think it has a 1.5 engine, but it has like 190 horsepower or something with the hybrid. I would love that in the game and to see how fast I could get that around, because I bet it does quite well on the straights. Any other like normal cars that are like mild hybrid or petrol or something that might be quite good on their base models? Maybe like an Astra. It depends though, because I know that the Astra and I think the 308, they did launch even the latest versions with 1.5 diesels as well. And so they might be the base models and they might be quite slow. Whereas a 1. If they've got like a 1 litre turbo, that might be alright, a little bit better. Yeah, we'll see. I'll scooch around. But if you are a modder, and you're really good, do an MG3. I would love to see what that was like. Hybrid, the hybrid version. But I don't know how powerful the petrol version is either. But that would be good. I'd really like to see that. Is it the MG3? Yeah, it is the MG3. And yeah, with that I will end it because I got nothing else to say. Sorry, this wasn't a very exciting one. I mean, we didn't even break the top 10 this time around. Didn't make any dent on anything. And yeah, what can I say? You know what? I might start doing now. I might start taking back cars that I've already done, seeing same ones. I'm trying to think cars that I screwed up that I would like to do again. I'm thinking cars that I thought would do really good, but they just didn't because I obviously wasn't very good driving them. Maybe. I'm trying to think. Is there any big sort of I screwed up bad? I think that Lexus, that hybrid Lexus that I did, could have done a lot better. See, some of them like this Dacia Duster, I like, on that MG ZS. I don't think I could get better. I think they were like incredibly good. I think that that Kia could have done better if I hadn't wrecked it halfway through. Ford Focus as well. I think I wrecked that halfway through as well, and I reckon I could have done better with that. Can't believe I did that well with the Renault 21 because that was wrecked. That BMW actually, that 3 Series, I might do again. Yeah, we'll see. Well, anyway, I'm banging on. I'm banging on, and who cares? I'll call it there, and I'll say thank you for watching. Have a nice week, month, whatever it is for you, and I'll see you in the next video, which is probably going to be a train video, but in the next video, I'll decide which of these I want to redo. Maybe one of those Peugeot 205s actually. One of the ones really low down. See how good I can get it. That Ford S-Max actually. I really want to redo that one because that one I destroyed, and I reckon I could get a good time with that because that's 2 litre diesel, modern, 120 horsepower. Probably can be done. Anyway, I'll leave it there and I'll say thank you. Adios.